All right, we're back. Episode 14 of Boots and Scarves. It is the Voyager's Cup edition with your host of the most, Anton, here at the helm. My roommate over in the next room behind me, he's over there, Stefan.
That guy? Yeah, I know the guy.
So, also another dear friend of ours, Brendan. How are you doing, sir?
How's it going? Good to be back.
Good, good. And El Presidente, first woman in office of Bytown Boys, Jessica. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. I see we're all just waking up. Or we're just tired of babies today. So, like I said, it's the Voyager's Cup edition today. And, well, you know what, Jessica? I'll start with you.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's see if she steals an answer again.
So, 11 questions as usual, and off we go to the races. So, we all know, if you follow football at all, you must know about English football, and through English football, you must know about the FA Cup. In Canada, we have the Voyageurs Cup. That is our, I guess, equivalent to it, which has now grown exponentially because of the addition of the CPL, which I am a huge fan of that, as well as provincial teams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, the bigger the tournament, the much better and the more interesting it gets. So will we see the tournament, i.e. Voyageurs Cup, grow to be alike the FA Cup one day?
I would love to see the tournament grow even more than what it is now, and be exactly like the FA Cup in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Brendan.
Of course, it's going to grow. Will it grow to the size of the FA? Probably not. With England having all different counties that are able to support football, Canada probably can't do the same thing. It will grow to a large amount. I just don't know how big. And if it does grow to the size of the FA Cup, we just won't be around to see it. The FA Cup is like 200, pushing 200 years old. So
Right.
When it comes down to it, it will. If it does get to that size, we won't be around to see it. But hopefully, we could get there.
Cool. Steph.
Yeah, well, it's more or less having to get to the FA Cup size that we'd want. We'd have to more or less have a hockey tournament that allows the NHL and my all-Canadian Tire work hockey team, where we just all pitched in $10 to skate on ice for an hour.
Right.
That's how huge that tournament has to be. And Brendan's right. To get to that size, maybe our grandkids. I don't see us. Yeah, that's a push. They'll be in their wheelchairs going, my grandparents talked about this.
I remember when there was 6 teams.
Exactly. That's how long it will take. But It can be done. It just has to be done properly. The Ontario League is doing well, even though it's very Toronto-centric. It is doing well, including their women's league. So there is hope there growing. Unfortunately, it's Ontario, but guess what? Where's the population?
Okay. So, Stefan, again, question number 2. What would you consider to be the Voyageurs Cup goal of all time, and by who?
Anything scored by De Rosario against Montreal Impact.
Facts.
I haven't seen enough Voyager Cup goals, but I would love to have seen his first goal to start the hat trick for Miracle in Montreal.
Okay.
You're such a fanboy of his. You know that, right?
Hey, when
He's
You mentioned
open
it.
about it.
Yeah. Look,
You jump on him so much. Like, oh man, I'll tell you this right now. If he was around in this Canadian starting 11 now, he wouldn't be making it. No way.
No. He would never. Not now.
Oh, okay. You agree. I thought you were going to be like, no, greatest thing ever.
No. Just this is
No,
this
at
is
the
back.
time.
At the time. Like, we saw him pick what was it? We're down 2-0 against San Jose, our first TFC game, and he just took the ball and just fucking walked it in, scored, and he was asking for money. So his goal celebration was like this.
Oh, was it? That's great.
Signing the check, yeah. Okay, Brendan, goal of all time.
I've only been watching the Voyagers Cup ever since Ottawa got a team, and I've loved it. It's my favorite part of probably about Canadian football is the Voyagers Cup. But, Ottawa's greatest goal in that tournament was Johnny Steele, no doubt, against Vancouver when we won 2-0.
You stole my answer.
It's the only answer any Ottawa fan should be able to give. That was a hell of a goal. I'll never forget it. Oh, man. What a great scene. And it was on our side. We were in the it was like right in front of us, and it was great. Yeah. I'll never forget that.
Awesome. So, Jess, you want to repeat it?
Yes.
You want to add anything to it?
I was going to say it's not the best or the greatest of all time in the Voyagers Cup, but it's the most memorable, and so I had gone with Johnny Steele.
Absolutely. All right. Back to Brendan. So, describe your favorite Voyagers Cup memory.
Like I said, I've only been watching since Ottawa joined, and there's a couple memories that I like, but I want to go with one a little bit more personal. Last year when we beat Halifax in the Light 2 in Ottawa, great game. I brought a buddy from work. It was his first football game, and we had a hell of a time. Yeah. After the game, when the players go along and, they say thanks or whatever, I had the opportunity to talk to Barnathan. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but in leg 1 of that game, there was like a scruff going on at the end of the game between Barnathan and a couple of the Halifax players.
Yeah.
And I asked him what the hell was going on because the cameras weren't showing anything. He goes, dude, I have no idea what the hell was wrong with those guys, but they just started to kick me for no fucking reason. So, Popovich went onto the pitch and grabbed me. He's like, get the hell out of here before anything happens. And it was great just being able to talk to him and actually finding out what happened in leg 1 because the cameras weren't showing shit. So I just love the way how he carried it. Is the way when I asked him, he was like he was begging someone to ask him because he jumped right into it. He was like eager to say. I was like, oh shit, I did not expect this.
That's great. That is funny.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, Steph.
I was working, and it was the away leg where we beat Edmonton 3-0. Before they came back to Ottawa to beat us 2-0 at home, then we got to go on to the Voyagers Cup. But I'm there working, listening to TSN radio, getting annoyed, but just listening to the game or picking toilet paper and straws and paper plates, you name it. And just
essentials.
And just listening to the game as I work. I'm like, yeah! Other workers like, what the? Listen to a game. Calm down. It's okay. They all just shook their head, and I just kept listening to the game. I hated working there, but I loved that we won that 3-0. So that is my favorite, even though I wasn't at the game.
All right, President Mackerlane.
In 2016, we played Vancouver Whitecaps. We had a huge celebration because we ended up beating them at home. There's so many pictures of us celebrating at the very, very end of the game, which they're really, really awesome pictures. And unfortunately, we ended up losing to Vancouver when we had gone for the second leg. But if we had just scored the one goal, we would have moved on to the next round.
Right.
It was such a bullshit game. They got a pen in the first 2 minutes, and it was fucking bullshit. He didn't fucking bullshit.
Talk to him, Brendan.
So I had to work that night. You know what really fucking sucked? TSN in the first half was playing a Binghamton Senators game.
Oh, damn.
Wait, what?
They were playing hockey. TSN 1200 was playing hockey.
Oh, the 1200. Okay, I was like, it was on TV, bud. What are you talking about? I love that.
I was at
Fury
work.
On TSN was amazing.
Yeah, no, it was on the radio, and I'm listening to it on the radio. Like, why aren't you playing your real local team? Okay, I understand the deal with Binghamton. I do, but fuck it. This is your local team, not your secondary team. This is your local. Focus on your local. Yeah, so I'm there listening to the hockey game while I'm fucking order picking. I just want to hear the Fury. Yeah.
Okay. Question number 4, President Jessica. Any predictions for, The question is, any predictions for your local side? But since we're all Ottawa supporters, any predictions for Atletico Ottawa, in your opinion, for Voyagers Cup this year?
If there is a tournament this year, who knows if there will be one, but if there is a tournament, I can actually see Ottawa moving on to where all the MLS teams join.
Okay. Mr. McCall.
I have a feeling this year, and I think Ottawa has a good chance doing it on knocking off Toronto and Montreal. We know Vancouver's a shit show, and I don't know if they're going to be any better than what they were last year. Last year was a mess. So when who was it, Forge, who beat them out, it wasn't too surprising. But I honestly believe there's a good chance we could see an upset this year, just with everything going on, and we don't know if every player is going to play or what the situation is going to be. I think this year might be the year for like shocks or.
Right.
So I'm going to say Ottawa can maybe push semifinals.
Cool. Over to Steph.
I'm not that hopeful. I'm going to go with quarters because this is still, to win this is the spot for the CONCACAF Champions League. So that those MLS sides, I know they opened up the MLS tournament that if you win it, you get to go to the CONCACAF Champions League. But that gives the two MLS teams that give a shit, Montreal and Toronto, more inclination. Henry just came in at the helm of Montreal.
That's true.
But you also have Mark DeSantos over at Vancouver. He's going to want to say, I can do this.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll do that well because you also have to remember Calgary last year giving a good run. Even York 9 last year gave a good run. So I don't see us giving that good of a run because we see pictures of training, but we haven't seen them actually been put in a situation where the players have to dig deep. The other teams have had that experience. So if we do go far, my expectations quarterfinals, nothing higher than that, unfortunately.
Cool. So, Stefan, again, in your opinion, do you think the Voyagers Cup tournament needs improving? And if so, what would you do differently?
Well, of course, everything needs improving. You didn't build Henry Ford didn't build that car and say, oh, look, it's a perfect day. We don't have to do anything to it. No, everything needs improving. So to improve it, you got to make sure your teams are financially stable to play in it. You can't have teams coming in, coming out, saying this is the format, and then all of a sudden next year the team says, yeah, I don't have any money. I can't do it. Bye. They're like, well, great. So we got to give this team a bye, but it's going to piss off everybody else. So the only way that it can be improved is that when they say this is the format we're going to do, prove to us you have funds to travel. As it grows, we'll see the second leg disappear. You might get it like in the FA Cup as replays, but because the size of Canada, cost of travel, you probably won't. It'll be one game knockouts, the extra time, and then penalties.
And I hope you're right. Brendan!
I think they've actually done a pretty good job for where they're at right now for the amount of teams involved and how early. Like, the Voyager Cup is older than what, a lot of people see it as right now. But with it growing, I think they've done a good job. Back when it was just 3 teams, it was a joke. But I will keep this pretty short since we're going to get into it later. One leg.
Okay. Jessica.
Yeah, with the tournament growing each year and adding more teams, I can definitely see the first rounds being one game knockout. And then as the tournament progresses, so the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final being a 2-leg event.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Just about halfway there already. So, Jessica, one more time. What new derbies in the Voyagers Cup do you see brewing in the next 5 years?
Ottawa versus York 9, maybe even Hamilton. And I can see the renewal of Edmonton and Ottawa.
Cool. I'm down for that. Brendan?
I think I would love to see a Calgary, Edmonton, Alberta type thing kickoff be really strong. We've seen what it could be like in hockey, so if their football supporters could get into it, I think it would be amazing.
Yes.
But I think the big one that we should look forward to in the next 5 years is whenever the CPL gets a Quebec team. I think Montreal and the Quebec team could go at it really nicely and watch those guys go at it. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I think it could probably be the best derby in Canada potentially.
Right. No, I think you're right. Between Alberta and Quebec, and if you
Yeah.
have two teams in the same league from the same province, that's fire, man.
Yeah.
Stefan.
So I'm not going to throw Ottawa into that mix with Hamilton and York for one reason. If it goes to one leg events, York and Hamilton, it will be police escort the bus off the highway into the stadium mentality, because we all know the jokes about York 9 fans, but it's a close rivalry. You could do it after work. You don't have to take a day off for it. You could just do it after work. Versus, mind you, Ottawa and Montreal can grow into a rivalry, but I don't think so, because there's a lot of people in Ottawa that love Montreal, and there's a lot of people in Ottawa that love Toronto. We saw that the first time we hosted Toronto.
I don't think that's what's stopping us from having like the derbies with them. I think once Ottawa grows, and I think if Atletico can actually put out a competing team who can knock these teams off, Ottawa's fan base will grow to a point where those derbies could be maybe somewhat entertaining. I think what's stopping them from being a true derby between the two is just that they're in the MLS. They'll always look down on us, so they won't take us serious. We might consider them a derby, but they will be like, whatever. It's like if you look at like the whole
someone just needs to offer Joey Saputo, let's say, $300 million US for the rights to the team.
But worth of cheese.
If you look at like the whole Northeast situation in England, it's like Sunderland and Newcastle with the Time Lord derby. Then you have Middlesbrough there, who hates fucking Sunderland because we give them no attention whatsoever. And I don't get what, like, they hate that they're not considered to be like a rival. They fucking hate it. Yeah, I think that's what the situation will be more like.
Yeah. It will take time, but as you said, if they get another team in Quebec, I've heard that the old Habs Nordique rivalry was insane to watch.
It was. It was. Okay, Brendan, would you like the Voyagers Cup to have a theme or intro song such as the one from UEFA Champions League, and what song would it be?
I couldn't give 7 shits, honestly. Like, just play the fucking game. I get it. It's an iconic song for this generation. But fuck off. Whoever submitted that question, who was it? Fuck you. Stupid question.
That was the point of it.
Okay, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. I'm not paying attention to it.
Over to Jess.
No, my answer is just no.
No? Okay, Stefan?
The reason why I asked this is because a few Voyageurs were talking to me about doing a theme song.
Oh my God.
So that's why it got in my head. So if we're going to go theme song, it came out in 96 by a Canadian, Brian Adams. We're going to win. We're going to win. Don't want to be a loser. Going to win.
Sure.
Cool.
Why not?
It's very repetitive, very simple.
Right.
Anton's just going,
Oh, this is probably my favorite episode yet. All right, President Jessica. Before quarantine, Atletico Ottawa wasn't likely to be included in this year's Voyagers Cup. Do you think at the time versus now, was it fair or not?
I believe the schedule for the Voyagers Cup was already done. I think possibly, or it was in the works when we had made the announcement to say that Atletico Ottawa was in fact joining the league. So I actually think it was fair. I don't think we should have actually been part of the tournament. Yes, I was sad, but it also, at the same time, I was kind of happy because then now we can focus on league play rather than league and Voyagers Cup.
Well, you're right. And then, if I want to add to that, it's just the timing of things, right? From when the rumors were starting about joining CPL to actually announcing a team to join CPL to it was like a month or 2 months out from the season and we hadn't even signed anybody.
Yeah.
So I was thinking in my head, like, man, how are you guys going to pull this off? But, now look at us. Brendan.
I get why people say it wouldn't be fair because of us joining at such a late stage, but fuck off. You have 2 teams from semi-pros. you have 2 qualifying like games pretty much between like semi-pro teams, and you don't want to throw a legit pro team in. I get why people are saying it's not fair just to throw a team in there, but come on. If we're going to be playing an actual season, there's no reason why they couldn't like throw us in an extra round with one of those guys. They would have had to play like a CPL team eventually, so just make them an extra qualifier. It would have been the same thing. Make us work, make us play more games. I don't give a shit. We should have been thrown in automatically, no matter what. They should have redone it. It would have took nothing.
Cool. Steph?
I actually like Brendan's response to that because I didn't think of it that way. I thought it was like, oh, great. They're going to put us in. They're going to push down the 2 semi-pro teams that are looking to play 2 better teams separately. And then I thought, wait a minute. Well, you're late to the party. Guess what? You get to play a qualifier against one of them to get in. So
yeah, it still counts. Like, it's still the same thing.
Yeah,
it would have made no difference to them. Like,
what's the phrase in Jamaica? Got joined the line.
Exactly.
Okay, you're late. Too bad. Go to the back. You got to work the whole length, not just the. You're not getting a bye. You're working the whole thing.
I never agreed with a bye when people were suggesting just throwing us in with the rest. Fuck that. No, we came in late. Join it, but do it like from behind. Yeah.
Yeah. But to be honest, it's CSA, orgy in a brothel, piss up in a brewery.
Yeah.
Run a bath.
One, I just want to buy a melon. 2, that one is for display purposes only. And 3, Brendan, he said that he liked your comment. Write that down. It may never happen again. Independence Day 2020 in quarantine. Stefan like Brendan.
Happy July 4th.
Absolutely. That's why I'm wearing this hat today. So, yeah. Anyway, Stefan, one more time.
Don't know who did that.
Sorry. Name a Voyagers Cup fixture you would like to have seen live, that you would like to see live in the future, and one that you wish that you were there for in the past that you weren't there for.
Live in the future. Ottawa versus whoever away in the final.
Cool.
And in the past, I'll have to need a miracle in Montreal. Montreal didn't have to win the tournament. Toronto could have won by 4 goals, and Vancouver would have won it, and Toronto won it 6-1. Like, Montreal fucking shat the bed. That would be a tournament. That would be a game that you want to be at because Montreal went up 1-0 first. That's already great. There's no way we're going to win this, and fuck's sake, we're down a goal already. Jesus fucking Christ, here we go.
So the first leg was in Toronto, and Montreal was already ahead.
When it used to be just the 3 teams, it used to be a round robin, home and away.
Oh, right, the table. I forgot. Yeah.
Right. So, and then all of a sudden Montreal shut the bed, which is great.
Okay, let's go full Mackham, Brendan. Let's go.
Fuck you, Stan, and your fucking Toronto stories.
Yeah, seriously. Fuck Toronto. I don't like the old Voyager Cups when it was just down to the 3 teams. They was just pretty much MLS games to me. There was nothing there. But it's because it was 3 teams. So pretty much, I guess the way I'll consider it is the Voyager Cup. Like, it's ever since the CPL joined, I think this is going to be the real Voyager Cup that people actually look back to in like, say, 50, 60 years. This is where people are going to start paying attention. And going back to last year, Montreal and York line was absolutely amazing to watch. We had Forge beating out Vancouver, which was whatever. We had Ottawa beating Halifax, which was great. But if watching the Montreal-York line games, that could have went either way. York line playing a hell of a game in both legs. And their fucking stupid keeper, what's his name? I can't remember his name. He's the one that fucked York line over. They should have won that. Montreal was lucky to get by. I can't believe he did that time. It's stupid. But so that's definitely like the both fixtures, both legs. I would have loved to been at. It was amazing football. For future though, God, I have no idea. Obviously Ottawa in the finals. I'll go with Steph's answer. Ottawa in the final away. I think we saw how many of us got down to New York. Imagine how many of us could go just down the road to fucking Hamilton or York 9. I think it'll be an absolute blast in the half.
Absolutely.
All right, so goalkeepers, either Ingham
It was
Or
him.
Vance.
Ingham.
It was
Ingham.
Ingham. Yeah.
Nathan
Yeah.
Ingham.
Yeah,
So,
it was him.
Nathan, if you're watching this, according to Brendan, you fucked it up.
You fucking watch the
No,
replay.
he's-
If he's
he's
watched that
absolutely
replay, if
right.
he's
I know.
done nothing wrong. Like fucking hell.
To be fair, he used to play for Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Oh, did
Yeah.
he? In my opinion, let me just clarify. In my opinion, he was the best goalie in the CPL last year. Like he absolutely did amazing.
was.
Like
He
he was
was.
an amazing keeper.
Oh, yeah, it's
fuck,
just
did he
one
shit the
bad
bed. Yeah.
decision. Yeah, one
But the
bad
fact
decision.
that
Just
he w-
yeah.
They all make mistakes, you know. Go back,
me-
go back to the World Cup when Brazil scored on England. All he had to do was fucking jump. He didn't fucking jump, and so yeah, I have
Are you good? Are you good?
yeah, I have scars. Okay.
Do we need to hug it out? Do we?
No, I'm not a hugger. It's okay.
No. Okay. Cool. Jessica.
In the future, Ottawa against whoever in the final, I have to agree with that. And past, I honestly can't really answer that second part of the question because I only started watching Voyager's Cup 5 years ago when I actually first started going to the games. So I
Right.
can't really answer that.
How about
That's
this one? The first Ottawa Fury game in the Voyagers Cup against Edmonton.
Sure.
Yes, I found the ticket while looking for my debit cards.
No, he planted it there.
Yeah. But okay, quickly I have to say this. So first season Voyagers Cup at Carleton, it was $17.26 for cost, and the Vancouver game $12.74. It was cheaper to watch an MLS side than an NASL side.
That's pretty
Ha-ha.
like that's pretty expensive for like where they were at and what league they're in. Like
Yeah,
considering.
the first year they had a lot of flack from the supporters because we went going through NASL supporter section costs and doing the money conversion. Like we were not having it at all.
Yeah, I only joined once they moved to TD. That's when I heard that we even had a pro team. So
No, so yeah, you joined when we had good ticket prices.
yeah, you know, reasonable.
All right. Last two. Jessica. As the Voyagers Cup tournament expands, would you prefer it to be regional based or random draws out of a hat?
I would have to go with regional based because if you do it regional based, the travel it's not going to be so expensive to travel, and then as the rounds go, that's when more of the travel will start. So I think regional based it is better than randomly drawing. Out of a hat.
Okay, Sunderland, let's go.
If we stay at a one league type scenario where the CPL is just one league, say we expand to 12 teams or whatever, I'd say it's just the MLS teams, and like say it's still the same as pretty much what it is now. 100% random. I understand if we expand to the point where we have like 26, maybe more professional teams in lower divisions, like as legit professional teams, we're gonna have to do regional. But like say like right now, like how the winner of the Ontario League and the winner of the Quebec League, that's technically regional, right? But if we were to stay the same as what we are now, it has to be random. And the reason, like, there's no reason, like, why we wouldn't be able to do that with cost and everything. We're selling players for over $1 million right now. That's pretty much the whole travel for that one season, I would assume. Random is the way to go. Random brings the fire. It's different every year. You never know what you're going to draw. And I think the MLS teams have to start getting in on it way earlier as well.
Cool. Steph.
All right, so I'll give a comment to his answer afterwards about the MLS teams. No, you would agree with it though.
Okay.
So I'm a mixture. So you have your East and West up to the quarters. I'm talking this when it expands, like really expands. But in those, you still have your randoms. But once they get to their semifinals, then that's when you make it random again. So you still cut down on costs a bit in the early stages, but near the end, when it gets more money's on the line, as it were, all right, put up or shut up. Here you go.
I
So
agree with that.
getting to the MLS point, the MLS doesn't even like their teams in the U.S. Open Cup unless it's making them money just for them.
Oh, you're talking about the American teams. I was confused by what you were saying. I was like, what the fuck
Oh, yeah,
are you
no,
talking
but
about?
so if they don't even – like, you have to remember, the MLS has never had a team win the CONCACAF Champions League.
Let's
It's
keep on
had
up, boys.
2 teams that have been to the final, and that's
And I loved
Toronto
watching them lose
and
every
Montreal.
time. I loved watching them lose.
Because of
Fucking
that,
loved it.
that's why they made that stupid hokey Championes Cup last season.
Which
Because
one?
they had like a 4-team tournament, 2 Mexican, 2 MLS.
Oh, that one. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because they've never really beaten a Mexican team in hockey.
Yeah.
So it was like, look, we could win something. See, it's pretty. We won it.
Yeah.
So,
but it's side note, and I know I should clarify. I did not want to see Toronto, Montreal win those games, and it's only because Ottawa had a team that was technically that could compete in that competition. I want Ottawa to be the first team to win that tournament, just like any other true Ottawa fan.
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand a lot of Ottawa fans come from Montreal and come from TFC days. They come from those football groups, and Ottawa's like their side team. We need to cut that fucking habit. That's the biggest problem with Ottawa sports, with signs, with anything, is that people don't lose ties. And I get it. You can still have fun feelings for them, but fucking move on. Like, you can still love your first crush. Move the fuck on. Ottawa's your team. Ottawa's your home. Fucking support them. Fuck TFC.
Where was I in the TFC? Where was I during the TFC game? I wasn't with the TFC fans.
You weren't?
I wasn't on.
I could have sworn someone was.
Oh, yeah. We all know who it was.
I could have sworn someone was. Fuck
well,
TFC.
They had extra wheels. And they just got pushed over the edge. I
was going to say the wheels off the bus always end up falling off, but then I realized that's not Toronto. That's Leeds.
It was a vegetative state, I swear. Anyway.
Fuck. Choose a fucking side.
Yeah. Hey, you know me.
Yeah, hammered. Anyway.
Not yet.
Yet. It's only just past midday.
Okay, I still got brandy.
Woohoo! So, last question of the day to you, Jessica. Should the Voyagers Cup remain a 2-leg event, or are you more of a fan of a single knockout system? Now, I already know we touched on it, but let's hammer out some more points of view here.
Yep. I think if the tournament grows and we do add more teams in, I honestly do believe that beating around should be knockout, one game, and do the lower seed gets the home game. So let's say Ottawa is playing against a team from Quebec and it's in one of the lower leagues. Well, then Quebec would get that home game. And then as the tournament goes on, then it would become a 2-legged event.
Cool. Brendan.
The only round that should be a 2-legged event is the semifinals. Everything leading up to it, it's just time consuming. Teams want to get it over and done with as much as they want to win. They don't like Wednesday games. We all know that. They know that. They don't want to continue doing, say if they do it for the quarterfinals on, that's a lot of games that add up. And I didn't even consider until she just pretty much said it, is they do the 2 legs just to pretty much play games right now, just because there isn't enough teams. But once there is more added in, it has to be 1 leg, and it should be 1 leg until the semis. Let the semis, have a semifinal, make that fair. But the finals, come on, the finals should be nowhere near a 2-leg. It should be 1 game, everything on the line. I don't care if you're worried about fans being excluded, put in a fucking random city every year like the Super Bowl, or have a designated area like Wembley. Do something like that. Don't give it to a home advantage unless it's planned beforehand. Give the home team something to fight for, to have that home advantage when it comes to the finals. But when it comes down to it, don't give me that two leg fucking bullshit for all
No.
finals.
I
Do two legs.
agree.
Like I would like rather two legs all throughout the tournament, except the finals. Just let the finals be a one leg. Like we've beat Toronto, we've beat Vancouver. We should have went on to those next rounds. We go back, let them play the full MLS teams, and then fucking run us over. Bullshit.
One, I am always and forever will be a fan of single knockout whatevers in any sport imaginable. I don't care what sport it is. Single game knockouts is my favorite. And I had a second point I forgot, so I'll pass it on to Steph.
Okay, so as someone who loves to go to games all the time, I see why I should be for two legs, and that's only because I get to see my team play.
Yeah.
But as much as I want that, how's the two legs going to affect my team? How's it going to affect them financially? How is that going to affect them morale-wise? Because they might hate having to go out to friggin' Edmonton. To be fair, I don't think people in Edmonton want to be in Edmonton, but that's a different discussion. We're going to have those trips all the way out, come back, and they're just like, fuck, that was depressing. All of a sudden, great, we got to try and play for this again. Fuck. And they're going at it again. So I like the two-leg idea. I'm not maybe earlier rounds, like for when we expand more with more local club sides, like when the provinces actually get their act together and have their individual leagues. So in the end, let's go with a neutral ground or a designated ground for the final. Yeah. And if your team wins to get to the final, how about you give people like 3 weeks notice? Not, oh yeah, by the way, next week we're playing. What? I don't have the money. Great.
I agree. They should like use that as like a major event. You know, have both sides able to build advertisement for at least 3 weeks or so. So that people could plan and travel and,
Ages ago, I wrote a blog about how I would create the CPL. And one of them was with advertising is get in bed with Via Rail. Get in bed with WestJet, which they already are. Get in bed with a hotel chain. If you prove your ticket, your game day ticket, you get you get a discount on your travel. You get a discount the night before the game, the night after the game at the hotel. Encourage people to want to go. Yeah. Because let's face it, if you know that you're getting 15% off to go to fucking Edmonton to watch Ottawa play in the final, and you're looking at it, and you're like, oh, I don't have to pay as much tax on a hotel room? All right, let's see how many guys I can get involved with. I don't have to pay that much tax or a flight fees? Perfect, let's go. They'll get... Well, didn't they used to do like the fan trains down to Toronto, Montreal for Sens and fan buses for Red Blacks to Montreal?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, just to get like organized, like how Fury organized for us to go down to New York.
Yeah.
As we were working on trying to organize it ourselves till they found out. Well, yeah, really?
I was amazed they did that.
I credit them wholeheartedly for that. I may have my issues with them, but when they did good, yep.
I still have a feeling like the part of the reason was because they wanted to get all the families of the team members down, and they were like, "What's the best way we could do this?"
Right.
Yeah, we get put on the kids' bus.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we dissect Macaulay Culkin, his parentage.
That was a great time.
Yeah, we dissected Home Alone 2.
What was it, like late end November watching Home Alone 2?
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect timing.
Oh yeah.
But I remember what I was going to say earlier, Tad, to your last point, Brendan. Like, if you're a club in England, you're already in 3 competitions between the League Cup, FA, and regular season. And if you're in Europa or Champions League, well, there's 4.
Yeah,
right?
Like if you're in lower leagues of England, they also have the lower league cup. I can't remember what the hell it is.
Right.
Yeah, but then
they change the name of it every fucking year. Like it was St. James Paint or something one year or something. Yeah, either way, I get it adds up. Happy. The amount of games adds up. If Canada was to add like a second like sponsored cup or whatever, it'd be like fuck right off.
No.
Well, this is too much.
That's why, like, in Canada, we just have our league and our Voyagers Cup, and that's it.
Right now. the FA was the only cup at one point. You do realize that, right? Like there
No,
was.
no, I know. I'm just saying.
Wait till the money
like,
comes in. Wait till the money comes in.
Yeah.
There's only the two. There's only the two competitions we have to worry about, which is all I really need as a fan, right? I don't need to be following all these extras. Like, oh, my team's playing again. Shit, I can't miss this game. Blah 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 blah.
Like, could you imagine being a player and say on a Saturday you're out in Calgary, Wednesday you come back home for like a Voyagers game in Ottawa, then you're going back out to like Edmonton for the next Saturday. Like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah,
Like,
Didn't Halifax have that?
logistics.
Yeah, something like
No,
that. Like they needed sort of like, I get it, like region has to be a thing, but like it comes to a time like we need to figure something out to make this like work, but still have it round, we still have it a one leg, still have it strong, but the teams are going to get affected eventually.
It's doable because Vancouver fans, when the MLS went to the unbalanced schedule, Vancouver fans were fucking pissed. So they talked to a couple travel agents they probably knew and gave a plan to the MLS how to do it properly, a balanced schedule.
Yeah.
With travel costs. And when I remember talking to my dad about it, he says, well, what you do, you draw the hat and say which team's going to be fucked over that season. And the next team that you pull is going to be the preferred teams. So that preferred team is the first team you do all the flight plans for, all the scheduling. 2 on the road, 2 at home. 2 on the road, 2 at home. You work around it. Then the next team, you slot them in, and the last team is the one that gets screwed over. But next season, they're the preferred team. And it's just a constant reshuffle. Not shuffle, just keep pushing everyone back to the line and switching.
I understand the pains that we have as Canadians traveling in our own country, and especially athletes as well. But if I had the magic wand, it would be random draws and single game and this, that, and the third. But the thing is, I understand, like, logistically, you know, it would just be more feasible to keep it regional based, I guess, to start.
Yeah.
Lower leagues, yes, but...
Well, that's what they do, right? Like, you ever notice that Man U's not playing... Well, right now I only know 2 teams below Div 4 in England, so they're always going to have. They're going to have Man U going to Barnet or Notts County. Notts County or Barnet aren't going to go to Man U. Remember when Crawley Town drew Man U?
Yep.
At home. Man U said, "Hey, we'll give you more ticket receipt share if we play at Old Trafford." They were fine with that. That covered half the cost of the season.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, they can set up the games first, make it public, and then the teams go, do we really want to go there? Okay, how much do I have to give you to get you to come here?
But, like, correct me if I'm wrong. Before, like, the FA goes through, like, all non-league levels, it starts off regional based, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes and no. It starts off regional based, but it's also division based as well. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, it's all your
because there's like
clubs.
7 leagues in fucking London.
Yeah, so it's level 9 and 10 clubs.
Yeah.
And they start in August.
Yeah.
And the finals in May. So
I love it.
And in August, one weekend's 184 games. The next weekend's 160 games.
Yeah.
So
but that's the thing. I want to see the pub clubs and the Sunday league clubs like just go ham on this. You know?
I remember watching one.
That would
FA
never
Cup.
fly.
I was watching one FA Cup game before Villa, and I saw it on, and it was some police versus the local village side. So the village police team playing the village side to get into the FA Cup.
That's hilarious.
It was in November, and guess what? It was raining. But that's like that is a dream goal that I'd love to see. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So that wraps up episode 14 of the Voyagers Cup edition of Boots and Scarves. Thank you, Brendan, Stefan, and Jessica, once again for your time.
You're welcome.
Anyway, Jessica, announcements, plugs, things we can tell the fans to follow us on and all that fun stuff.
Yes. You can follow us at Boots and Scarves on Twitter, on at Bytown Boys on Twitter, and we have a Bytown Boys Facebook page and a Facebook group. And this Friday, we are having a meeting. We are discussing the charter. The council went through it and changed the charter, so that's up for discussion on Friday. And whoever is a paid member can vote to pass the charter or decline the charter.
Coolio. Steph, you want to add something?
Yeah, so Jess is right on the charter. So we worked on it. We made it simpler. We changed a few items, but more or less, we tidied it up. We looked at sentences like, why does the sentence exist? Get rid of that. It doesn't make any sense. But the other thing is about the Voyagers Cup. So for those who may be watching that have no clue about it, brief history lesson. It was created when Vancouver and Montreal were the only two Canadian teams in the Pro League. They were at the time was called the A-League, which turned into the USL. So the Voyagers, the Canada supporters, wanted a trophy for their local clubs to fight for. Well, Canadian clubs. So that's where it started. So when people say Vancouver's won this many Voyagers Cups, well, that's when it was only against them in Montreal. Then Toronto skipped the line, got into the MLS right away, and then they became part of that tournament. And then once Edmonton showed up,
money.
yeah.
So it's like the Silly Isles League. There's only two teams.
Yeah. So in the end, the reason why you hear a lot of us call it the Voyagers Cup and not what they call it the Canadian Championship is because we're giving it homage to the people that paid for it. So whenever you see me buying constant random stuff from the Voyagers, it's because the amount of work that is done by the Canadian National Supporters Group for that trophy, for the Canadian national team. One tradition of the Voyagers Cup is that the home fan has to award the trophy to the winning team.
Nice.
It's not a CSA rep. It's not a league rep. It's a Voyager handing over the trophy. So that's why if anybody wants to buy stuff from the Voyagers, go support. The people beforehand did a lot of work to get this going. So
they've got mad merch to buy.
You gotta give credit where credit's due, and that's why I will not call it. What was it called a while back? The Budweiser FA Cup.
Who the fuck called it that?
Oh, they were a sponsor.
Oh, I never saw that. But that must have been before Ottawa, then, right?
No. This I'm talking about the FA Cup in England. Budweiser sponsored the FA Cup one year, and then now it's Emirates. Oh yeah, but everyone calls it the FA Cup. Emirates is now.
No. When was Budweiser?
Let's see. When did Mackenzie get married? It was a May long weekend.
We're still recording, mate.
So it's around 2013, 2014.
I don't remember that.
Arsenal beat Wolves in penalties.
Oh, okay.
So that's
cool.
So you gotta give credit where credit's due. So yeah.
All right. Thank you all once again so much for your time today on Saturday. Boots and Scarves, episode 14, with your host with the most, signing off. Thank you very much.